Hey boys and girls, welcome to Mr. Mello's Tiny House and our first tiny keyboard theory lesson. In these lessons we're going to just start with the very basics of the keyboard, and we're going to progress slowly, for some of you, through a progression of exercises that will take you from learning just the basics of finding the notes on the keyboard all the way through playing seventh chords, playing adjustments to seventh chords, alterations of seventh chords, and being able to look at a fake book and accompany yourself pretty easily and understanding the concepts of doing so. This isn't going to make you a fantastic jazz accompanist, but it's going to give you the understanding to be able to look at choral music or to look at a fake book or a piece of sheet music or a hymnal and be able to start to understand what you're seeing and understand how to sit down at the piano and help yourself, so you don't have to rely on your directors when you get to rehearsal all the time. You can actually be working between rehearsals, for those of you who are singers. For those of you who are just interested in learning a little bit more about the piano, it's going to help you understand how the keyboard is set up, the structure of major and minor chords, the structure of seventh chords, structure of sixth chords, all that kind of stuff, and be able to help you to dive into some keyboard books that you might have around the house that you've never taken the time to look at more than once after you got it. So, parents with your kids locked up now, this might also be a time that you could have them look at these videos if you have a piano or a keyboard at home, which a lot of people have just electronic keyboards. Take a look at these lessons, give them some time. They can start to mess around with it a little bit, start to understand how things work. So, with that being said and done, today's lesson number 1, we're going to start with just being able to identify the notes on the keyboard and then being able to identify how to construct a major chord from that. So, first things first. We know that the keyboard, and I'm going to tilt this down so you can see it a little bit better. I don't have any fancy-dancy little setups for my keyboard, so this is the best I can do for you. We all know the keyboard is set up with black and white keys, and the black keys are set up in sets of 2s and 3s. So, easiest way that I've always taught this for people who are just totally new to the keyboard is find the 2 black keys. And in the middle of the 2 black keys is the note D. In the middle of the 2 black keys is the note D. Okay? Now, the musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, ad nauseum. It just keeps going. Okay? So if I have D, and I go down one, it's C. I go down another one, B, and I go down another one, it's A. Now notice I played all white keys. Okay? So for the moment, we're just talking about white keys. So here I am on A. So A, B, C, D. Remember, that takes me back to this garage of in the middle of the 2 black keys. Then E, F, G, and that takes me back to A. If you said H, you weren't listening to what I said before. Remember, musical alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, over and over again. No H. Okay? So, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then back to A. Ta-da! So, what I just played there was A to A, and that was a minor scale. Don't really need to know that, but in case you were wondering, that's what it was. Now, most often we hear about C. The reason we hear about C is because when I play all white keys, from C to C, it's a major scale. I don't need any of the black keys to make it sound like a major scale. It's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, all the way up. And I don't need anything else. So, if I tried that on D, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right, because it needs two black keys to make it sound like a major scale. Okay? So, now we know we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Great. Now, major and minor. Instead of trying to teach you major and minor scales, which is really boring, by the way, we're going to talk about triads. We're going to talk about chords. Okay? A triad, 3 notes stacked up on one another, makes a chord. Okay? So, if I talked about C, and I played every other note, I'd play C, E, and G. And when I play that, that's a C major chord. And if I listen to that chord, I hear the quality of it. Now, just to give you an example, if I change one note, if I change the middle notes, I get a totally different sound and I get a minor sound. So, we're going to be talking about major sounds. So how do I do that? Well, every key on the keyboard, including the black keys, all those keys are what we call half steps. Okay? Every key is a half step. So, a whole octave from C to C is made up of 12 half steps, and if I go to the C on top of it, it ends up being 13 half steps. But 12 half steps make up an octave. To figure out the mathematical reason for getting a major, there is a formula. A major triad, there's a formula. And that's going to be, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps, and then go up 3 more. 1, 2, 3. So that gives me C, E, and G. Okay? Now I can go to any note on the keyboard and do that mathematical equation, and I'm going to get a major chord. So, for instance, if I go to D, that first note we talked about, D, in the middle of the 2 black keys, and I go up 4 half steps, not counting the note I'm on, but the first note next to it, adjacent to it, up to the right of, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, happens to be an F sharp, and then 3 more, 1, 2, 3, that's an A. Now I play D, F sharp, A. Ta-da! I have a major chord. Okay? Let's try another note. Just at random, let's try A. We talked about A. So, here I am on A. I'm going to go up 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. C sharp. Then I'm going to go up 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And that gets me to E. And that gives me an A major chord. Okay? Now, what if I were to start on a black key? Doesn't matter. Same formula. So I start on C sharp or D flat. It can be called either one because it's between C and D. We're going to call it C sharp. C sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3. There's that major sound. That's my major triad, my major chord. Ta-da! It works. We'll try one more. Let's try here, F sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, we broke away there for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. All black keys. So, F sharp major chord. So, your assignment between now and tomorrow is to do the following. 1, go through and identify all the keys. Start with that D in the middle and find out where A is, and then go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and start to look at that and try to become familiar with that. Then, start to make some major chords using the formula 4, 3. 4 half steps, then 3 half steps. Starting on my note, not counting the note I'm on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now, one thing I'm going to ask you to do. When you play your major chords, I want you to please use your right hand, and I want you to use your thumb, your middle finger, and your pinky. Okay? Use your thumb, your middle finger, and your pinky. No matter what major chord you're playing. It's going to help you in the long run, because tomorrow's lesson is going to work off of that, and it's going to be good that you're using those particular 3 fingers. Okay? So, until tomorrow, have a good day, stay safe, wash your hands after you use the piano. And if you have multiple people using the piano and they've gone in and out of the house, you might want to wipe down the keyboard. Here in the tiny house, it's just me and the cats. They don't play the piano. Take care.